Hi, we're the Cold War Kids, and you're watching Uncut.
So let's go tell your shit to cram your paper money, start closer than before.
You guys are no stranger to Austin, Texas. You're here quite often, and thank God for that. But I've also noticed that obviously you're quite prolific with writing music. I mean, what's the longest you've went in between putting out whether an LP or an EP? What's the longest you've done?
Our records have usually been on the 2-year
For the LPs,
cycle
right?
for LPs, but then we always put an EP out sooner or later, which we got one coming out really soon. Tuxedos.
Yeah, we're actually going to get started on our next one right away. We're very excited about it.
How do you guys manage to write so much music? Is it the 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off kind of schedule that you keep now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the kind of thing where it's not that hard if you're organized, and I think that's kind of a, you know,
It's much later in age that organization comes.
Right.
And I'm not organized at all.
A lot of it is, you know, now having our own studio tour. There's always a lot of downtime. You can find ways to do so many things, and I think the more you do it, the more you find out how to compartmentalize your fun and your
work
productivity. Yeah.
Well, especially for younger bands, I'm sure that's a very hard time to distinguish between rock and roll and work and fun, because they're kind of all the same thing early on. Not that what you do isn't fun, but there's got to be a distinction or a point in your life where you go, okay, enough of that. Let's do this for real. What age were you when you started doing that?
I don't know.
I guess
It's
in
probably
some
different
ways
for
it's
both.
been pretty serious from the beginning. I mean, what was coming very naturally, we had all this interest, and then it was kind of seemed like, whoa, we better take this seriously. This is really happening. Yeah, you have to find out how to have fun with it too, of course.
I talk to a lot of bands that do a lot of these interviews, and for the most part, in the past decade or so, most of the bands are really down-to-earth, mellow, smart guys. It is that old preconceived notion of rock star dead. You know, will there ever be another Ozzy Osborne, that lovable, drunken drug addict that we all want to see and hang out with, but we wouldn't want to go home to him?
I think they're still around. I think you have some, but I think you're right. Majority of the people are like, maybe it is because it's like it used to be so polar, like, band, you either made it and were like extremely successful, or you didn't make it. And I think now you just have to be financially responsible. We are very fortunate, but we also we're not making a ton of money.
And what is the market for success for a band nowadays? I mean, I read somewhere that like in 2012, only 1% of all records put out sold more than 10,000 copies. Like only 1%, and that's mind-blowing considering how many albums come out.
Yeah.
But I think that there's this weird kind of leftover era or mind frame from the MTV genre where kids automatically assume that, well, if he's in a band and he's signed to a record label and they're touring, they are rich. There's crystal on that bus, there's cocaine, and there's parties. But that's not the reality of it, nor do I think that was ever the reality of it, only just that 1% that we often saw on MTV. So how do you guys measure success? I mean, obviously it's not about the cocaine and hookers. You have that. You have plenty of it.
Yeah.
I just like to focus on the work, and if there's work and inspiration and stuff to do, that's success. And if we, like Nate said, pay our rent and have happy lives, and I think most of us have generally happy lives, that's success. Someone said it one time, it's a lot cooler and more fun, I think, to be warm than hot. And like if you can stay warm as long as you can, because once you're hot, you got to stay hot. But if, you know, it's cool to be hot when you're Tom Waits, when you're 65 years old, 60 years old, and I think he's hot. I think every band will measure success differently, and for me, I think it might be different for Nate, but it's having cool work to do, cool touring to do, and having cool art to do. That's success for me.
How's it gonna feel when summer ends? Out of money, out of friends.
Do you guys find yourself doing more and more stuff like this, on-camera stuff and videography and...
For ourselves, yeah. Actually, I mean, for this record, we actually are almost done with making a video for every song on the record. For all the records before this, we had, you know, you'd make 2 videos for the record, and each of them had a lot bigger budget. This one, a lot of these videos, we're having our friends help us. They're, you know, anywhere from like basically, you know, free to, you know, $1,000. You know, just the total.
Whatever deal you can cut.
Yeah, and I think that the spirit of that is, in some ways, it's how every band starts, with that kind of spirit of like, whatever we can pull together, that's what it's going to be. And and you want to grow up with that, but at the same time, it's been interesting coming back to that, making our record in our own studio, having Dan, our guitar player, be the, producing, engineering, mixing. Everything feels much more in-house. Masta's always done all the artwork, and now he's doing a lot of video things. It feels more like closer to home. And
you created your own machine at this point.
Yeah. So it's nice.
Well, let's talk about the fans, the people that do love you, and the people that take the time to watch these videos online. Like how, obviously they want to support. So what's the best way they can support? Is it actually going out and buying that CD on the day of its release? Is it coming to the show? Is it buying a t-shirt when they come to the show? What's the way that the fans can support? Do they tweet about you? Do they Facebook about you? How do they do it?
I think every single one of those things is great, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of fans have a hard time going places with the bands they love, because a lot of times they want them to change, but then when they change too much, then they get a little...
Right.
It's hard, and I've watched bands that I love go through times where I'm like, what are you doing? What is this all about? And I think, having a positive attitude with us is probably just about the most important thing. Because now with the internet, it's easy to have an opinion and put it out there, and I don't know if that's like healthy all the time.
It's one thing to go, well, I put up a Facebook post about the new album coming out, and that should be good enough. No, turn on a friend.
And making mix CDs. I feel like people don't make mix CDs as much anymore. There was a year ago, I was making mix CDs and sending them to fans, like people that were winning them on Twitter. And I should make a new one. Maybe when I get home in September, I'll make a new one and send out some copies. But I think that's an art that is kind of dying, making mixtapes, mix CDs for people.
Well, I'm just inspired that I inspired art. I think I'm done here. I just inspired art. You're welcome, Cold War Kid fans. So can't wait to see you come back and go out and tweet and support the show and buy a t-shirt, buy your friend a ticket, and buy some vinyl. Yeah?
And just enjoy the music.
Too easy. Sounds good to me.
Enjoy the music.
Thank you.